BC Conservative leader John Rustad had an odd and largely not safe for work performance during the BC debate, bringing up an overdose death he witnessed on the streets of Vancouver that the BC's coroner's office has come out and said never happened, describing a vivid image of a woman bleeding out on her way to the hospital, and focusing on the real issues that keep British Columbians up at night in a climate emergency and affordability crisis. Paper straws. Take a look.
Thank you very much. And when I look at what's going on in British Columbia today, there are people dying on the streets. There are people dying on the streets, whether it's from crime or whether it's drugs. I was on my way over here, and at the corner of Robson and Hornby, there's an individual who died. And there was emergency people rushing. This person died from an overdose. This is the British Columbia that David Eby has created. People have died waiting in emergency rooms. There was a lady. She was in labor. She went into the hospital, and she miscarried in the washroom and sat there covered in blood, waiting for hours for services in an emergency room. What we see in this province is an opportunity for everybody to be able to prosper. There's no question there. That's one of the reasons why, as part of economic reconciliation, we are actually going to look at the the return of land to First Nations people. It needs to happen. This is rights and title. Right title is included. It's Section 35 of our Constitution. So we will be engaged with First Nations, but we want to make sure that what we're doing with First Nations is creating those opportunities for success. I have seen it when I have a young lady that comes to me and says, I'd like to give you a meat offering. And I say, what for? Because you put a program in place that gave me some training. I got my first job. I was living on the street as a single mom. I had my child on the street. I couldn't look after my child. Now I have a job, I'm back doing some training, I have another job, and I just want to say thank you. That is what economic reconciliation is, connecting with people, making sure they have an opportunity to build a future and look after the kids. That's what any parent would want in the province. That's what we need to deliver when we're working with First Nations in BC.
Well, I don't know if I would compare a relationship with First Nations to parent and child. I would compare it as...
promised a lot of changes that aren't actually under BC jurisdiction. Repealing taxes on tips is federal law. The courts have ruled you can't just clear away homeless camps, and you say you'll bring back those plastic straws. Are you promising things that a BC government alone can't actually deliver?
So we're very proud of the fact that we just need to get rid of the stuff that sucks in BC. Paper straws suck. I'm sorry, we've got to get rid of those. It doesn't work for people in BC. You know, there's a little meme I saw where there was 2 lines of white powder, supposedly cocaine, and a plastic straw, and the bottom sign said, one of these is illegal in BC. And that...
Mr. Rustad's performance felt nearly Trumpian, with his grotesque imagery and relentlessly negative tales. However, unlike Trump, whose boorish behavior has a performative show-person quality that, for reasons unknown, is captivating and charismatic to his ardent supporters, John Rustad appeared aloof, distant, and awkward, unable to connect to the television cameras and the nonpartisan audience at home. His persistent negative attacks on Eby never seemed to offer a meaningful or positive vision for the province, and his inexperience as leader was evident, unsurprisingly, as many of his former BC Liberal caucus members didn't speak highly of his political acuity while a member of the party. His position to revert the province to, as Sonia Furstenau aptly claimed, 1957, and to focus on large-scale resource extraction projects of the past, when BC's economy in the 21st century is more concentrated in tech, film productions, the construction and development industry, and service sector more broadly. This uninspiring vision for the province relies on returning to the past when the economics of the oil and gas sector is diminishing exponentially. This is all incredibly concerning given Rustad's previous statements doubting the human causes of climate change and now pledging to reverse actions, many of which are under the federal division of powers, to decarbonize and modernize the economy for the 21st century. BC should instead increase its competitive advantage to produce the vast renewable energy potential and then compete in an emerging industry that will dominate the future. Mr. Rustad's performance was panned as uninspiring and awkward, and it seems to have not quelled any lingering doubts in the more centrist-minded voters of the former BC Liberal coalition he is trying to attract. What do you think? Did Rustad offer any meaningful overtures to the undecided voters, or did he mostly speak to the Conservatives of a far-right base that won't broaden his coalition? Let me know in the comments below.